Good evening and welcome to the Loaded Dice podcast. Tonight, we give you 66% of the Loaded Dice podcast. Myself and Doug.
Hey, how's it going?
We are missing tonight Roberto and
We
his
are
Pearls of
indeed.
Wisdom, as he is, what did he call it? A mini moon?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I don't even know where they went.
I think they kind of just stayed down south somewhere, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, we managed to finally marry Rob off. So he's now somebody else's problem.
For sure. So we look forward to a new host coming in sometime next month.
Yeah,
actually, no, that's a lie. I'm sure we'll keep it for a while.
Yeah, that's it. That's if his new wife lets him come back and play.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking about this today, that it actually means that we're now old married guys, all of us.
Well, you're old married guys.
Well,
I'm still under 30. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we managed to marry Robert off a couple of days back, and he's now doing like a mini honeymoon thing. So he's not available to podcast, and that's actually also kind of the reason, among other things, that we've been a little bit lax in doing episodes and everything else. I've been away from Sydney more in the last month than I've been in Sydney for other weddings and all sorts of stuff, work related. Doug, I know you've been away.
I have in and out of Sydney, much the same way, but that's okay. And then Rob's been prepping for a wedding, I guess.
Yeah. I think we caught him heading off to the airport with a one-way ticket on more than one occasion. He's not here, so he cannot deny it.
It's true.
But we thought we would jump back in. So I know in the last episode we promised a big Custodes, a big Golden Men episode, and we have started on it. We're a good, I don't know, 1/4 of the way through it. But it does require all three of us. So between real life and everything else, Doug and I thought that it would be good to get back on air. Now things have calmed down for a little while, and do a bit of shit talking, for want of a better phrase.
For sure. I love a good shit talk.
So tonight we thought we'd just do sort of a quickish episode. We wanted to have a bit of a chat about the 8th edition FAQ, the big FAQ that Games Workshop dropped a couple of weeks back now. Mainly going to be talking about sort of the big core rule changes and FAQs, things like the Rule of 3 and the Death of Soup. We also wanted to take a quick run at maybe some of the reasons why Forge World is doing the disappearing trick on so many kits at the moment.
Oh yeah, hey, that's happening too.
Yeah. We were sitting around. It was nearly midnight, and we were sitting around at the wedding, and my daughter had finally gotten to sleep, sort of thing, after being awake for like a record of like 6.5 hours. And so we were sort of sitting in like a quiet room, like upstairs at the venue, and I sort of like opened my phone and had a look at it, and my entire news feed for a good 30 stories was just people losing their shit about Forge World removing a whole lot of those upgrade packs for 30k.
Yeah, there did seem to be a bit of a collective bed shit.
Yeah. So we'll have a bit of a chat about that. And we can also have a bit of a talk about some of the new stuff that's out.
Oh, that's right, because they're still releasing stuff too, aren't they?
Yeah,
all these good things happening. I swear, I feel like, you know that Slowpoke meme that goes around every once in a while?
Yeah.
I feel like that, right? Because here we are, almost a month later, and we're like, hey guys, let's talk about the FAQ.
Yeah, look, I I like to think that whenever we talk about subjects that other people have like beaten to death with a power maul, we're giving our own unique like flavor to it. We probably aren't, and I don't think anybody listens to us anyway anymore.
I listen to it. So hi, future Doug. How's it going?
Is that new Doug?
I don't think it's new Doug. I think it's just me, like, whenever you release this into the future.
Oh, good. Like, that'll probably take like 5 weeks for me to edit it and release it anyway.
I look forward to seeing where I am.
And do you have any words for future Doug? Actually, any words of advice for him when he comes around to listening to this episode?
Don't eat yellow snow. That's pretty much all I've got.
Words to live by, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing is we are most probably going to be putting this episode out via iTunes and Podcast Garden. So if you found it that way as normal, you'll be like, what the fuck's he talking about? The other thing that we're going to start doing is we generally record these days using Hangouts Live. Now, we're not in a position to be able to actually do them live because it would absolutely murder our bandwidth.
Yeah, Australia.
Because even though I think I've got NBN, and do you have NBN?
Heck no, I don't get NBN until... Well, they've stopped putting it in, right? So I don't know when I get NBN. I was slated for 2019, but who knows? So it might actually be fiber to the home by the time I get it.
Well, hang on, out your way. I thought they just got like koalas to like lick their fingers and stick them in power sockets.
No, that's
that way.
That's what my sister gets. She's classed as rural, so she gets the stupid satellite, which has a hard cap. Like you're literally not allowed to download more than X amount, and they just cut you off. And it's not great. It is shit house.
So we're not ever planning on doing these live and making like them public to have people chatting to us, because I have a feeling the first time somebody asked something really inappropriate, the entire thing would just shit the bed. Not because it was inappropriate, but just because our internet is absolutely garbage. And I know Rob, when he is back in that bastion of modern day Australia that is the North Shore of Sydney, also has like satellite 28K. Like I'm pretty sure I heard like beeping noises coming from his fucking modem the other day when I was there. So, yeah,
the old dial-up
work. Great. But what we do want to do is we're going to start putting these out on our YouTube channel because apparently a lot of people listen to podcasts on YouTube for some reason. I guess while they're painting or whatever. For the moment,
my bandwidth can't handle that.
Yeah. This is why you get so much painting done, is because you don't have access to YouTube videos.
Oh, for sure, right?
But yeah, we're going to do that. For the moment, it's just still going to be us chatting to each other. I don't think we're going to do anything in the way of big visuals and whatnot, because as it is, it takes us 50 billion years to actually edit the damn show and put it out. And if we had to then sort of put a whole video together, would be, couple of hours into recording it, and then triple that time into actually editing a video together. So and then I guess the other really big thing is you don't want to just sit there looking at Doug and I.
I don't think I actually have a webcam, so you'd be shit out a lot.
Well, there you go. We can't even sit here and look at Doug, even if we wanted to look at Doug.
You'd get my stupid Google Hangouts photo,
which I think is a very dashing photo of you, Doug.
I thought so.
So we're going to be doing that. So we'll link that up as well for people that, for whatever reason, want to watch on YouTube or listen on YouTube. We'll definitely put it up there. And if I can sort out things like screen sharing and whatnot later on, when we sort of plan things a bit better than we have today, because I just sent you a message this morning and was like, hey, we should podcast. So if we actually do show notes and whatnot, we might be able to do a bit of screen sharing. You can sort of look along with us. But for today, I don't think there's anything too extraordinary. If you wanted to follow along, I would suggest jumping on Warhammer Community and taking a look at the FAQs as we're going through. And obviously, we might have a bit of a chat about some new miniatures. So just the Games Workshop website and the Forge World website.
I am literally spinning Orlok gangers as we speak.
Yeah, are you making them break dance on their heads?
Sadly, they don't have the up and down tilt. They've just got the 360 spin.
Fair
enough. I keep looking at them and being like, what could I turn them into? Do I need a 7th Guard army? Maybe not.
I saw... What were they? I want to say they were Tox Guardman heads from Max Mini.
Oh, on the Orlok bodies?
Yeah, they come up really well. Savlar Chem Dogs or so that's that's something you could take a look at. But I think if I was going to do Savla Chem Dogs, I think Victoria Miniatures is where I'd be going for my hats.
Oh yeah, for sure. I almost don't buy hats from anywhere else anymore.
Yeah,
unless Vic Minis don't have it.
Okay, so all right, well, we may as well jump in and do a bit of new stuff and all of that, and have a bit of chat about Forge World, and then we'll deal with FAQs.
Yes, that sounds like an excellent idea.
Let's do that. So, Games Workshop, new and exclusive.
Yeah. New releases and pre-orders, or just new releases?
I feel like we need to do new releases and no, not web store exclusives. That's the wrong thing for me to click.
There's a lot of things in web store exclusives these days, just quietly. 1,016 kits.
Yeah, no,
including apparently the Van Sars.
Yeah, well, I actually, this is something I want to talk about because I managed to hit my daily step count walking up to Games Workshop in the city and walking back, just because I decided that if I was going to break my my only consumables in the hobby that I've been doing for the last little while, I was going to do it for a box of Van Sars, only to find out that Games Workshop doesn't stock Necromunda anymore. Figure that one out.
Yeah.
Now, I know
you've got to make space for all the new War Turtles, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Well, apparently, I was reading something the other day, and it's now making a bit more sense to me after I sort of ducked past Games Workshop. And the other one was I also, my local Games Workshop, I sent them a message on Facebook because I sort of thought I could catch the train home and just duck up the street and see if they've got a box.
Oh, yeah.
But the guy was actually saying to me, he said, no, they are direct only. You can only order them. And the where else did I drop past? Good Games didn't have any, like they still have old Necromunda stock, but it doesn't look like they've had anything new. Like I don't think they even had Orlocks. I think they just had Goliath and Escher gangs.
Yeah, wow.
And like a core box maybe.
Yep.
But somebody was saying the other day on a Facebook page somewhere, so it's got to be true, right? Like you can't discount the
That's right. People don't lie online, right?
No, of course not. And they were saying that, this is sort of also in direct correlation to Forge World stuff. Is obviously Necromunda is a Forge World game, because it's a specialist game.
And
so they were talking, the move to more resources into specialist games, because apparently Necromunda is absolutely killing it.
Yeah, I'd believe that. It seems to be doing quite well.
Just absolutely bonkers, right?
Once again, the internet tells me it's doing well, so
yeah. Well, so it's entirely possible that it's gone to direct only for Games Workshop, and Forge World's going to be able to, you're going to be able to get it through Forge World, and that's about it.
Okay.
Which I think is a shame because if you had a game that was going that well, and to be honest, you need to be able to keep 2 boxes of every gang, which at the moment is 4 gangs, so you need to keep 8 boxes.
8 boxes and a starter set.
And 3 books, 3 magazine-sized books.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to have a little Necromunda corner.
Yeah, just the cardboard stand that they had on release.
Yeah, yep.
Just keep that around and have some stuff in there. I guess you can't, and this is probably something, and this is something that I got told ages ago, is that if they want to sell it in their stores, they have to be able to demo it. Which is probably fair enough. So, that's an extra table and it's, this sort of terrain and that sort of terrain. But,
Yeah, but it's only the little cardboard tiles, right? To actually run a demo game.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more the case of you'd need. So, most stores that I know have, if they're lucky, a 40K and a
Sigmar table. Yeah.
And then, the Sigmar table can also double as. Fuck, I don't know. Do they still sell Hobbit shit in Games Workshop?
I don't think so. I think that's all web store.
Okay, so it's just AOS and 40K anyway.
Yeah, which I think has been the push from GW for a while, right? To just have those 2 kind of mainstream games running in there, and then everything else is a bit of a tack on.
Well, that's I guess that's the way it's sort of going. And when I sort of ducked into the City Store today, which I have a feeling is still the biggest store in Australia. Correct me.
Let's go with that. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in terms of area and size, it's the biggest store in Australia.
Yeah.
And half the half the 40k wall. So like one wall of the shop's like 40k, one wall of the shop's Age of Sigmar, and then the two short ends, because it's sort of like a rectangular shop. One's got display cases, and the other one's kind of like windows out to the street. It's like black library books and stuff.
Yep.
And half the 40k wall was like all those getting started sets.
Yeah.
With like the 3 Plague Marines and the cardboard cargo containers and
Yep. So no fear and fear to dread or whatever it's called, and
like so there was a
Dark
whole bunch
Imperium.
of that, and I think there's like some painting sets that are like getting started painting sets.
Yep. Yeah. The one that's like 3 Primaris Marines and a bunch of paints.
That one. And look, you know, if you're getting started, like I think it's fantastic that you've got that stuff. Like you don't have to do this insane. Okay, I'll just go and buy Dark Imperium for $200 or whatever that costs these days. But half the wall is dedicated to that, and then like the rest of the wall is obviously all your kits. So like it takes up a lot of real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but anyway, the end result of that was I didn't get any Van Stars, and now I have to decide whether I actually want to order some, which I probably won't. So that's at least going to stop me from spending money on stuff.
Did you not already order the hats for them though?
Well, okay. Funny story. So I thought I had ordered the hats for them.
Yeah.
But apparently all I'd done was I'd put like everything in to pay for them, right?
Yeah.
And it gave me, and I hit like proceed, and it gave me a thing that was like the final, are you really, 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 really sure that you actually want this stuff?
Yeah, sure.
And I never hit proceed to that page.
Right.
So by the time I came back and was like, oh, I don't have a message from Max Mini going,
we've got your order. Yeah.
And I checked it, and the whole page had timed out and had dumped everything out of my shopping cart.
Yeah, okay.
The universe was looking out for me.
Nice. It's always nice when that happens.
Yeah, but I'll see if I make it through tomorrow without ordering, 3 boxes of Van Stars and a whole lot of hats. But yeah, so yeah, Necromunda, if you wanted it, looks like it's direct only from now on. Although please let us know if your store does seem to get in boxes of Van Stars or anything like that.
Yeah, we might drop in and say hi.
Yeah.
No, that's doubt it.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if some like stores manage to just be like, oh, Necromunda's really good here. We're just going to order a few boxes in or something like that.
Yeah.
Have the option to do that.
Yeah, because I was looking before. None of the gangs have the little web store only button.
No, we see. I double checked that. Like I looked at it and I'm like, oh, maybe they're just like not out yet.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, you can order them, and there was nothing saying it's releasing on this date. It didn't even say direct only. It took the guy from my local GW to say, no, it's direct only on this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Looking at the website, I think I could buy them in store, but maybe they're moving them over, and who knows? By 11 o'clock tomorrow, they'll all have the little red pointer of doom to join the basilisks in the web store only dungeon.
Well, you see, like the other thing that's kind of interesting is, the other big sort of specialist game at the moment is Blood Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Once again, apparently going absolutely great guns for Games Workshop and Forge World, which is great to see because, the better these games do, the more stuff, the more people they can hire and have doing other things. So the Chaos Chosen team, which I want to say are called the Doom Lords.
Yeah, there's something or others.
So they were in store.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw a box of them on the new releases stand next to all the Deepkin stuff.
Yep.
So it's a bit surprising that they would sort of keep the Blood Bowl stuff in, but not the Necromunda stuff, or whether they're just phasing Blood Bowl out to direct only as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
But yeah, either way, new Van Stars look really awesome.
Yeah, they're very pretty.
I actually, I was sitting around with my daughter the other day, and like trying to keep her entertained is, she's at that age where she'll like look at something for like 2 seconds and then she'll want something else, and it's generally a toss up whether she wants the sharpest thing in the roof, even if it's like a freaking steak knife or a Bowie knife.
Yep.
Give my kid a Bowie knife or a steak knife, but you know, she's that age where she manages to find one if there's one somewhere. Or it's power cables that are plugged in and turned on, which she enjoys chewing on. You know,
Excellent.
or it's like the cattle dog's tail or something like that, which hasn't gone bad yet, but
you know,
pretty chilled cattle dog, right? But it's
Yep.
sort of like, you know, so you got to keep her entertained, right? And you can jingle keys and you can give her toys, but it's like, you know, every 2 seconds you got to get something else. My wife and I have sort of been trying not to do the whole like just put her in front of like insane children's TV.
Yeah, good call.
Mainly because it would give me nightmares, half the shit that kids watch.
Yeah.
Like if anybody's ever watched In the Night Garden, like I swear,
Yeah, that's a bit nuts.
that planet is in the fucking Eye of Terror somewhere. Like that shit is a demon world. So anyway, I was like sitting down, and we've got like a big screen at our place now, and I'm just going through YouTube videos, like, you know, just seeing like what she's interested in. So it's like watching some like Top Gear episodes, like just little shorts, and she's sort of like, yeah, cars are pretty cool, but she'd still, you know, zone out. And then like in my preferences, it's like, hey, Warhammer Community's done a new video, and I'm like, cool, I'll just watch that. So I've like just clicked on it, not knowing what it is. It was Duncan painting Van Saar.
Nice.
And I'm like, cool, I get to like have a look at a bit more of the Van Saar models. And, you know, Duncan's voice is very soothing. Holy shit, if my daughter did not sit there for the entire like 17 and a half minutes without making a sound and without fucking moving.
Nice.
Not even kidding. She just like, the moment he like, you know how he's like, hello, and then like starts talking about it, and he starts reading up the paints you need.
Yeah.
We need, you know, like this bronze and a red and you know, Catachan green or whatever the hell it was. And she was rapt. She was absolutely rapt by it. Like, it was hilarious. So if anybody has problems getting their kids to chill out, just turn on Duncan.
How did you go with Bob Ross?
I haven't watched any Bob Ross in ages.
Oh,
but I should.
You should. Very soothing. Happy little accidents.
Happy little accidents, yeah. Actually, the last video of Bob Ross that I watched, and this is so, well, it's not really that far off topic, but it was literally just a compilation of, you know, how like he uses a lot of masking tape in some of it's like to do like the Windows scene or whatever.
Yep.
It's just 10 minutes of Bob Ross peeling masking tape. And it was incredible. It was so good. It was like just getting the payoff.
That would be most excellent, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But no, I haven't tried her out with that at the moment. Duncan's up there. But
nice.
No, they're amazing miniatures, those Van Saars. I do need to get my hands on.
I really love their like just their rifles.
Yeah, the
little snub las guns.
Yeah, they're like called suppression las guns or something like that. Or yeah, no, they're very, very cool. Although, as we were sort of saying before, mine are going to get a hat swap and probably get used for 40k because nobody seems to want to play Necromunda.
Too much other stuff to play.
I know the feeling. And we don't play that.
Too many guard armies to paint.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, what else have we got? Deepkin.
Lots of Deepkin.
War Turtles.
Yeah, actually. So did you notice that they've all got metal plates over their eyes? The War Turtles?
Like blinkers, yes.
Yeah, so you don't have to put them on. There are eyes underneath on the sculpt.
And I think
you quite happily have ones that can see. The shark has it too.
I was going to say, yeah, the shark I was looking at, because it's like, that's a very strange like eye for a shark. And then like, no, it's like blinkers over the top of it, which is, yeah.
Which I guess kind of makes sense because they're all blind, or half of them are blind as well, right?
I have no idea. I know nothing about these guys.
Deepkin, I'm pretty sure like the Nemati Reavers are like all blind.
Oh, okay. Do they use like sonar or something?
Bunch of eyeless dickheads. I think it's kind of meant to be a little bit like deep sea fish.
Yeah.
So, you know, where we're going, we don't need eyes.
Yeah. Sam Neill Turtle.
That's right. It'll be great. Claw on the Event Horizon. It'll be great. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. I really need to watch it.
Such a good film, though.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, sorry, completely off topic, but have you watched Lost in Space?
My wife is actually sitting in the lounge room at the moment watching it.
Nice.
I think I'm like 4.5 episodes through.
Solid. Sorry, just thinking about wormhole tech and stuff.
Well, okay. Well, now you've got me completely off topic onto Lost in Space.
Sorry, guys.
I'm actually not enjoying it that much.
Oh, really?
Like so as we said at the beginning of the episode, like Rob just got married, right? So a few weeks ago we did a box weekend away, which basically involved drinking in a treehouse up a mountain and playing a bit of Warhammer and some board games.
It was great.
So it was super like low key, chilled, which was amazing. While we were there, we were chatting with a few of the guys, and they were just on me about not having watched The Expanse on Netflix.
Yeah, okay.
I was sort of complaining about The Expanse because I had 3 runs at getting into it, and I made it through like the first episode of season 1, and I was like, ugh, what do people see in this? It's just fucking boring. Well, I finally finished season 2 the other night, and I think I watched the last 8 episodes of season 2 in one sitting.
Yeah, okay.
So basically spent like an entire fucking day just like smashing through it, to the point where I didn't realize I'd actually finished season 2. Woke up the next morning and was like, yes, I want to watch some more Expanse. I don't know, and it like wasn't working, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, there's only like 12 episodes or 13 episodes or whatever it was.
Yep.
That was incredible. Like first season is a bit slow, but by the end of it, really going, and then season 2 is just absolutely incredible. So love that. And then I'm like, cool, what's the next thing I need to watch? Okay, everybody's telling me Lost in Space is amazing.
Yep.
Hopefully it's like The Expanse. Might be a bit slow starting off. Then we'll find out how it is.
Yeah.
I just... the family annoys me.
Yeah, that's fair. I suspect if you're not invested in the family dynamic, the whole thing...
Yeah, like
really fly.
Like, the mother is a pain in the ass, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, no kid is actually doing an entire whiteboard of chores for a box of fucking Oreos, right? Like no kid is doing that shit. Like, you know, they're gonna do as many chores as it takes to get the Wi-Fi password, and that's about fucking it.
Pretty much.
The fucking I don't know. I just the like I don't mind the boy Will Robinson and his
I cracked the shit with him a little bit towards the end.
Oh no. Like it doesn't make sense that he's there. And I know that she cheated to get him in, right? But he only failed one component of the entire test.
Spoilers, by the way.
Fuck. Oh well, hopefully James already watched it, because he's the only person that seems to get salty with me over it. So
that's right, and this will come out like a month from now, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's it. Fucking season 10 will be done by then.
That's right.
Anyway, let's just push on anyway. So it doesn't make sense that like his dad, right? So his dad's like special ops military guy. I get why he's there. I get why the mother, who's like the insane fucking engineer with some sort of social fucking issues, right? I know why she's there.
Yep.
I kind of get why. I imagine it's the adopted daughter.
Yep. The doctor.
Unless there's some strange Stewie Griffin thing going on there where they just don't realize. But fuck, I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure that it comes out that she's spoilers again, that she's adopted. Not that it's a major plot point or anything.
Yeah, and not that it's not like immediately obvious.
Yeah.
But like, I get.
And he confuses me. I'm not entirely sure why Penny's there.
Yeah, like
manual labor, I guess.
But that's it, right? It's kind of like, what purpose does the fucking 12-year-old? Like, it doesn't make sense, except we just don't want to split families up or some shit.
Yeah. What role would he serve outside of being part of the family unit?
Yeah. And like the thing that like blows my mind, and we're so far off topic, but fuck it, we're doing this anyway.
Welcome to our Lost in Space podcast.
So one of my favorite movies of like the last few years was Alien Covenant, right?
Really?
Oh yeah, like I'm a massive Prometheus fan, and Alien Covenant is incredible, right?
You like Prometheus? We're gonna have a conversation.
Well, I guess that's what we're doing right now.
I did enjoy Covenant, and I quite liked the whole idea of families being kicked out to pairs being sent out to the colonies.
Yeah, but like one of the big issues with Covenant, according to everybody that didn't like it, which I think was everybody other than me, was that you know the bit where like they land on the planet that they're not supposed to be going to and all this shit, and then it's just like, fuck it, let's take our helmets off.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously people get infected and, you know, fuck spoilers, the movie's been out for years, right?
Yeah, and all goes south very quickly, as is the case with every Alien film ever.
Yeah, exactly right. And you have these people, like you have the insane chick that's trying to kill the little alien in the fucking med bay and shoots the oxygen tank or whatever it is and blows the fucking ship up.
Yes.
So, and everybody's just like, oh my god, these people have gone into fucking space as colonists, right?
Yep.
They would have been trained. They would have had all this training, how to deal with stressful environments, how to deal with, you know, like if they're going to arm them, they're going to know how to use a gun. They're going to know how to do this. They're going to know not to take their fucking helmets off. They're going to know not to smoke a cigar, sitting on a fucking rock on an alien planet, right?
Yes.
And everybody's like, oh, like it's just fucking stupid, right? But I see all those same people that were saying that to me, like, what, 2 years ago about fucking Covenant?
Loving it in Lost in Space.
Watching Lost in Space and just being like, oh, this is fucking incredible. Yet they're all doing the same dumb shit.
Yeah, I guess the difference with Lost in Space being that the dipshit families aren't actually doing any of the colonization work. You know what I mean? They're just kind of being ferried. They're on a cruise ship.
No, but they are colonists though, right? Like they're supposed to be going to Alpha Centauri and like setting up that planet.
Yeah, but the planet's already set up. They're kind of the 20-something wave.
Oh yeah. But you know, like they are going.
So they're not right on the edge.
Yeah.
But I take your point and tend to agree. There's a whole bunch of useless people.
and then the other thing, and another spoiler coming up here, right? Although it's in like the first episode, I think, is, and look, I'm not a chemist, so I could be wrong, but the father was very, very exact with the amount of magnesium that one he got out of the ground using a fucking like spoon or some shit, and two, like that he didn't cook his adopted daughter alive when he just dumped a whole lot of fucking magnesium on her head and is just like, cool, let's set this shit on fire and it will like melt you out of a hole.
Yeah, that's right. Let's boil the water around you, but you'll be fine.
Yeah. I you know, like I was expecting it to come like you know those oven fresh steam bags that you put in a microwave. It's got carrot and stuff in it. Like I was expecting to like pour out and should just be fucking soup inside of that vac suit. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess if the suit's keeping her healthy below 0, I guess it'll keep her healthy over 100, right?
Yeah, and then that's as long as like the magnesium doesn't just fucking like course straight through the ice when it gets set on fire, because you know that's generally how super hot things work when you put them on ice, and just like burns through her fucking faceplate and burns her out through the suit.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't. I don't know. I don't know. Yet apparently there's no problem with that. But you know, the moment somebody takes off their helmet and smokes a cigar in Covenant, it's a shit movie, right?
Yeah. Well, they hadn't tested the atmosphere. They had in Lost in Space because the dad ruptured his suit and he'd be dead already. Because there's no disease that'd take longer than a couple of hours to kill you. Ever?
Yeah. No, that's. Yeah. I don't mind it, but I think it's like it's less of a sci-fi film and more of like a survival drama.
Yeah, I think
it's actually supposed to be, right?
Yeah. Once you get past those first few episodes and that kind of sci-fi, that heavy sci-fi end, it does become a lot more kind of Minecrafty, I guess.
Yeah,
which works for it quite well.
Well, like I feel like it shouldn't be lost in space. It should be lost on some fucking planet in space. It's not really lost in space, if you get what I mean. Like they're not like stuck on a starship, like hurtling off into the void.
Yeah. Well,
sort of like, we have like flowers and waterfalls and yeah.
But spoiler alert, give it time.
Okay. All right. Well, I will continue to hold out hope that it's as good as The Expanse.
Not having watched The Expanse, I can't comment.
You see, like it is. I am definitely a convert, and it is definitely worth a watch. Is that enough of a tangent?
Speaking of watch, one of the other new things that came out from Games Workshop over the last little while
That was fucking fabulous.
Thank you. Is the new Deathwatch Codex.
Yeah.
Which
so
I am super excited about.
Yes.
So keen for these guys.
It's on pre-order at the moment, and I think it comes out on what, Saturday?
Yeah, it'll come out on Saturday. Although I think I ordered mine to go straight to my PO box, so hopefully it'll be in there a bit earlier. We shall see.
Friday or something. No,
yeah.
So as normal, there's a Watchmaster collection, which is the collector's edition of the Codex and the cards. There's an Essentials, which is just the standard Codex and cards. You can obviously buy cards by themselves. Watch Captain Artemis.
Yeah, finally on his own.
Yeah, which is very cool. There's been so many times since he got released. What, like 3 years ago? I think it was.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago that I was sort of like, oh, I really need this guy, because I used to have the
Inquisitor 54 mil one.
54 mil.
Yeah. Such a cool character.
Yeah, no, he is pretty cool until you read about what happened to his arm.
Yes.
He pulled the pin on the stasis grenade and counted to 4 instead of 3.
Natural 1. Yep. Lost his hand in a stasis field.
You fucking fumbled it, sir.
But quick, make a fumble roll.
But either way, Artemis is a very cool model. I don't think it's changed at all.
No, it's still the same kit.
It's still the same kit. It's just the it's been put into like a clan pack.
Yeah, still the same sprue actually too, which is good.
Yeah, I'm just having a look now, and it's got a really cool, obviously the bionic arm and the combi weapon if you're looking for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and has obviously that kind of, because remember the Deathwatch stuff when it came out was slightly bigger than your basic Marine, so he's not going to look super out of place next to a Primaris.
Yeah, well that's kind of where I was going to go next with it, is that they are doing Primaris Marines.
Oh yes, they are.
Now they are $118 for 5.
No, it's the full box of 10.
Oh, that is a full box of 10?
The picture is deceiving.
Oh yeah, okay. All right. Well, that's
it's exactly the same as the Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and basic bits. It just has the squads with the Deathwatch sprue chucked in instead of the Dark Angels or the Blood Angels one.
Well, that's all right then.
So it's not too bad. It's about the same as you pay for other intercessors, right? Hang on, how much is a normal? Normal intercessors are $98. Okay, so you're paying $20 extra for
the sprue, yeah. And you do get Deathwatch shoulder pads for everybody. You get a plate, 2 helmets, and some Deathwatch icons as well.
Yep.
So power sword. So like it's as good as getting, I guess, the Blood Angel upgrade sprue or whatever it is.
Exactly.
That one.
Yep.
So no, that looks pretty cool.
So I will probably grab that box at some stage.
Yeah, very nice.
Because I've already got like a fairly sizable basic bitch Marine.
Yeah, Deathwatch Army. Yep.
Kill team. Or 2. So I'd love to have just like the big brothers rock up with an aggressor, making them all relentless, and an intercessor letting them fall back out of combat and still shoot. Just to sprue with people.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Great.
They've also released the Deathwatch Primaris Apothecary, which is just
same
Apothecary with the upgrade sprue, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, does he go with the full sprue? Oh, he does too.
He does, yeah, which is, I guess, to some extent.
So you could even just buy him in a box of basic Marines. Yeah, basic intercessors.
Yeah, you'd just be you'd be like 1 shoulder pad down or something, but there's enough like little Inquisitor.
Enough little bits and pieces. Yeah. Okay.
So that looks pretty cool. And from what we've seen on Warhammer Community, they have a stratagem for every single faction in the game. So it's like
all the Xenos ones. They don't have anti-chaos.
Yeah, so they have like the anti-Tau stratagem, which is like if you've been hit by marker lights, you can play it and it removes all the marker lights immediately.
Yep, Scroll of Dispel marker light.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
The Orc one is
have like that's the only one I've actually seen, but I imagine there's like an anti-Orc one and an anti-Elder one.
Yeah, so the anti-Orc one is play it when you shoot Overwatch at a bunch of Orcs. For every Orc that you kill, reduce the reduce the charge roll by 1 for the squad that's charging you.
Oh, that's cool.
So you shoot like a mob of boys, you kill 3 of them, they're at -3 on their charge roll.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
So put a couple of aggressors in there with the Flamestorm gauntlets.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, you're just gonna kill it. You're just gonna kill them all in Overwatch.
Exactly.
Anyway, if that's the case.
So you just but if it's like a 30 boy mob, right?
Yeah.
And you burn out like 8 of them, they'd have to be standing very, very close to still be able to charge you.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. The Eldar one is you can basically intercept or shoot at something with fly when it moves near you.
Yeah, cool.
And the Necron one is -1 to reanimation protocols for a squad. So if you desperately want to blow up warriors killed,
yep,
hit them with the stratagem, which is appropriately called Overkill, and hit them with the -1. Who else is there? Is that it? Tau, Orcs, Eldar. Nids.
Yes.
Nids is you can target Synapse creatures, even if they're not the closest. So you can gank a Broodlord or a Neurothrape or something.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I like that. And I like that it sort of like, plays into their fluff and everything else. Like,
for sure.
Like I read something and, even if I could remember where the fuck I'd read it and who wrote it, I wouldn't say who it was because I don't feel like after wasting the 3 minutes of my life to read their article, and I thought it was basically what they were complaining about was stratagems are just all the same. Like every army just has the same stratagems.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, one, that's fucking wrong. Like Dark Eldar have got the only anti-stratagem.
Yeah.
All the Deathwatch ones are obviously very unique to themselves. But it's like, yeah, sure, there are a couple of stratagems that are, kind of similar and sorry, and exactly the same, right? But so what? We used to have a bunch of universal special rules and they just got layered into armies.
Well, shit, every power sword is literally exactly the same, right? Like
it was just this massive bitch about they're all fucking same. And I'm like, but hang on a second. Last edition, Relentless was the fucking same that for everybody that had Relentless.
Mm-hmm.
And, Hatreds are the same for everything with fucking Hatred.
Yep.
What do you want to do? You've got 16 factions or whatever, how many fucking numbers of factions you've got now that you've got chapter tactics for every army on the
that's right. For sure, right? And you want some shorthand, everybody can take a relic, or an extra relic. That's a good one to give to everybody.
Oh yeah. That's exactly right.
Just makes sense.
It's just and he's it's just got really samey and it's just gotten rid of all the flavor for me. And I'm like,
then you're playing it wrong.
Like what fucking games are you looking to where you get, as I said, I think there's 16 factions and then, every faction that's got a fucking codex now has basically got 3 through to 8 factions within it that are all different and honestly do play very differently if you set your armies up. My Steel Legion don't really play anything like, a Catachan army or a Talon army or anything like that. So
exactly.
It was just a very strange article, and as I said, I want my fucking 3 minutes back. But it's I'm just loving that they're putting the effort into this sort of stuff, and obviously the Deathwatch ones are very, very cool.
Yeah.
Although, and look, I've complained about it before. Right now is that I still don't like the idea of an entire army of Deathwatch dudes.
Yeah, I wouldn't do much more than a patrol full of a couple of kill teams.
Yeah, I think you and I were chatting about this in the car driving somewhere not too long ago, and we were sort of saying the patrol or the even like a battalion I could understand.
Yeah, like an empty-ish battalion where you've got a couple of kill teams and a couple of bosses and
yeah, I can kind of see that, but an entire fucking brigade of kill team kind of makes me go holy shit.
Yeah, and I actually as much as it's a little bit cynical to pair them with an Imperial Guard command point farm, it kind of makes sense for them to have a patrol of Deathwatch and then a battalion or two of Imperial Guard around them.
Oh shit, yeah, I feel like they, that's the way they fight. If you read the I want to say it's Ural Ventress that he's in the Deathwatch for a while.
Yeah, he is.
And he's and there's always some guard guys around as cannon fodder sort of stuff. And then, they get their asses kicked and the Marines have to save them. So, that to me makes sense. I used to love the idea that you could just take a single squad as an elite's choice.
Yeah.
Basically what we call Stern Guard veterans these days.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Lots of people were using Stern Guard as their counts as Deathwatch, weren't they?
Yeah, no, that's
ages.
That's exactly right. So, like,
And then they got their own book, and you can take frag cannons and stuff now. They really fucking kill up. Did you see, by the way, the outrage about the Deathwatch Codex, which clearly makes them unplayable? Sorry, sarcasm, of course. Is that the Boltstorm gauntlets on the aggressors, the things that pump out like a million shots, don't get special issue ammo.
Well, that's just fucked. Like, I demand that they reprint the Codex.
Right?
And
why do they not have special issue ammo? No, it makes an awful lot of sense, to be honest. You don't want to give those leaf blowers better leaf blowers.
No, that's exactly right. And look, I think like are people actually stacking just normal bolters in a Deathwatch army? Because I thought the idea was just like tons of frag cannons, a dude with like a thunder hammer and a storm shield out the front to just like bullet catch.
5 basic bitch intercessors, like even without the aggressors and everything else in there, are actually not bad because the special issue ammo is pumping out. Like, for example, one of them adds extra range and an extra AP.
Okay.
So you can go out to like 30 inches AP neg2 on a bolt rifle. Which isn't bad.
Right. So I need to add a unit of these guys to an Imperial Guard command point farm.
No, because you're running nothing but Chaos Guard, so you don't get Deathwatch.
Chaos Deathwatcher, I think.
That's right. Chaos need alien hunters too, right?
Yeah. Please send your hate mail to Robert_Barlow@hotmail.com. I don't actually think that's his email address, so that's all right. But
we hope not.
Yeah, Robert made me do it, right? So yeah, Deathwatch is coming out. Obviously, Doug, you're a big Deathwatch fan, and look, I don't mind them. I love all the Chamber militants. Are they even called Chamber militants these days?
I doubt it. Let me hang on. Lexicana. Keep going. I'll Google it in the background.
So like I've always loved the Chamber build. Like I love the Grey Knights, and like even the Sisters of Battle are pretty cool, and I can't wait to see what they do for them over the next 12 months or so. So I think that once this book lands, and you obviously being a player of them, Doug, we will, get stuck into it, tear it to shreds, and see.
It's an interesting one because I love Genestealer Cult, and Deathwatch are obviously the natural, kind of opponent to that. But and somebody else on other podcasts that I listen to pointed out that playing something like Tyranids or Steeler Cult is a little bit like playing as the GM in an RPG, in that you're kind of playing the bad guys with an eye to helping the heroes tell a good story.
Yeah, because it's kind of like how do you cheer squad for the hive mind?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I actually really like that.
So the Deathwatch are kind of my party, I guess, that I take out when I want to play as the heroes. And then the Steeler Cult are what I roll out when I want to play the universe, like the bad guys.
Yeah.
And help the heroes tell a good story. So it's actually quite a nice pairing that I never quite get enough of. And they are still Chambers militant.
Oh, they are. Perfect.
Apparently.
Perfect. So yeah, I think if you like your Marines big, black, and silver armed, you'll be liking this release.
Yes. I'm keen. And I think I still have my Artemis somewhere.
Yeah, I think you've gotten me slightly pumped, actually.
Good.
For some Deathwatch. So
excellent. Run them against my Steeler Cult.
So what else was there from Games Workshop proper? I think
lots of Dark Elves. Some of the made to order ones.
Yeah, they've ticked around all the Dark Elf stuff, which is kind of funny because they were my first army in any Games Workshop game, and it was a Dark Elf fleet in Man-O-War, which quickly became a Dark Elf army in Fantasy. And this was back when like all the miniatures were lead.
Yeah.
And you got 3 Cold One Riders in a box.
Yep.
Which
still was cheaper than Blood Knights.
Everything's fucking cheaper than Blood Knights.
I guess
it was sort of interesting to see Warhammer Legends, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, "What? This is like the last sort of Dark Elf shit that came out." Like, and then I'm like, "Oh, actually, it has been a while. It has been a while."
Yep.
So yeah, no, there's some good stuff there if you want some dark elf things. Although, look, I'm gonna say it is that you can generally find this sort of stuff on Facebook buy swap sell pages without too many problems.
There's normally someone selling something.
Yeah, so before you jump on Games Workshop, maybe chuck something up on Facebook, and you might find that people are able to help you.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than that, I think there's like, as we said, there's all the war turtles that are fit to order, as well as some other deepkin. I think, as we slowly sort of move into doing a tiny bit of AOS and play some games. I know Ben has picked up some deepkin already, I think.
He has.
So we might be able to give you a bit of a report, but other than saying the models are pretty frigging awesome, even though they maybe don't make that much sense to me, I still reckon they're fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talking about getting some clear casting resin to base them. Yes. And have them actually literally rising out of the water.
Ooh, that'd be pretty cool.
So basically sinking them in clear resin up to wherever the last level of fish is.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be very cool. Although you just have like a whole lot of it'd be like a really heavy army.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of little cylinders of resin everywhere. Yeah. Now this cylinder's the whatever. And this cylinder is Volturnus, High King of the Deep. And this cylinder is Shanktopus.
Barry the emotional support Shanktopus. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, no, I think look, all the models I think for AOS that have come out, since it's turned into AOS quite a few years ago now, have all been pretty awesome, barring the Fire Slayers.
Yeah, they kind of bounce off my memory. I don't even know what they look like.
They're
basically the old Dwarf Slayers, right?
Yeah, big angry naked toddlers with keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, bugger that. Their mounts are okay though. I kind of like the Magmadroths.
Oh yeah, like the dragons with no wings. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd put a custode on that.
So yeah, lots of cool deepkin stuff, which is awesome.
Which is neat.
So let's trip the light fantastic over to Forge World. Necromunda Bounty Hunters.
Yeah, they're really cool.
So we have the return of the squats, or at least the return of the squat.
It's right, return of a squat.
In Grendel Grendelson, the squat bounty hunter. So if you haven't seen this guy, he's basically a Nostalgia You Lose model. So he's a squat with a thunder hammer and bolt gun. Don't know what else to say about him.
Yes, he's what we'd call a throwback.
I'm actually surprised he's not driving a tricycle.
Oh, give it time. Give it time. Gang War 5. Gang War 5.
Yeah. They missed a trick with him not being on a tricycle. So my favorite out of the bounty hunters is actually this next guy, which is Iros Slagmist.
Really? He's your favorite? Interesting. He's quite good. I like him.
I sort of I love the hat.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit of Asian influence there to me. Like he's a bit I feel like he wouldn't be out of place in Ghost in a Shell or something like that.
Yeah.
As
Firefly.
As like some, like half cybernetic.
Yep.
Not particularly high tech, but
yeah. Cyber Ice Farmer or something.
Yeah. Definitely very cyberpunk.
He reminds me actually an awful lot of Embo from Clone Wars. For those who watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yeah, I'm completely at sea.
Yeah. It's all right. That's why we need Steve here. He'd get my reference.
They re-released Belladonna.
Yeah, I think she's probably my favorite, to be honest.
Yeah, she's
her with a head swap, I think. I want to give her a different hat.
Give everything new hats.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really like her. I like the cybernetic leg that she's got going on there.
I just like all the bulky cybernetics, right? Like the hand, the leg.
Yeah, like everything looks a bit shit.
Which is great.
Like it's perfect Necromunda.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Belladonna, and then the last one is Slate, Medina, and Macula. And these guys are like Orlok hired guns. I love the dog, which I'm guessing is Macula.
We would hope.
Although, like, wouldn't like that'd totally be a Necromunda thing for like the dog to be like the hired gun, and the dude with the giant hammer and the plasma pistol is just like
his minder.
Yeah, it's just a doofus.
No, Macula is the Cyber Mastiff. That's a shame.
So I definitely think I'd get this for the Cyber Mastiff.
Yeah,
Macula.
I think so.
Although Orc guy with giant hammer and plasma pistol is also very cool.
It's true. But it is a very cute dog.
Yeah, look, that's everything, and you can buy them as you can buy them in a lot.
Yep.
You can buy them individually.
Yep.
And then we also have the Aurochs Armored Transport.
The pleb bus.
Now, I know you love this model, so I might let you chat about this one, Doug, because I don't know.
You don't like it?
It just doesn't do anything for me.
That's fair. Oh, does it not actually have 40k rules at all? That's disappointing. Solar Rocks and Militia only. Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mostly just like it as like a clunky-ass rhino, right? Like the sort of thing you'd imagine survivors of the Dark Age maintaining.
Yeah, like I just can't. It's the tracks, right?
I think I'd swap the tracks out, definitely.
Like I don't like the track guards because they don't do anything.
The bulky ones at the back?
Yeah, like what? They're only there to protect that very specific part of the track from what somebody diagonally up and behind the Aurochs.
Yeah, that's where they're most vulnerable.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I shouldn't be getting stuck in the Games Workshop over vehicle design because none of them make any fucking sense at all. So
right. Let's talk about Lehman Russ barrel sizes.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a.
At least it looks like it might have suspension.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. Like, I could imagine Iron Warriors using them.
Well, that's the thing. I like it for the clunkier, shittier legions and armies. So I could imagine, like, not even Survivors of the Dark Age, but like a Warrior Elite, for example, Grenadier Squad piling out of one of them.
Oh yeah, that'd be
with
pretty
like
cool.
Totems and fetishes hanging off it and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I did one, I'd definitely give it double heavy stubbers and count that as my Storm Bolter on an Iron Warriors veteran rhino.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. Yeah, so there's the Aurochs. That comes in at £58.
I don't think I like them quite that much, but that's okay.
And obviously, this is just a transport for Solar. God, I told you it'd been a long day.
Right.
And
Solar Rocks and Militia.
And you can put 10 blokes in it, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay, so I think the only other thing to deal with in Forge World, unless you want to talk about giant elephants.
You don't want to talk about the Mummock War Leader?
Okay, so Forge World's done a Mummock War Leader TM. Now, as far as I can understand, it's the plastic Mummock kit with a guy on foot and a guy like up in the howdah.
And a different head. So like the trunk, the tusks, and the ears have been reworked.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, I've just had it.
And there are 23 individual spikes to glue into the tusks. Good luck.
Now, do you actually get the Mummock as well with it, or is it just the?
It looks like it, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So the plastic parts, and then all of the resin bits to change the face and put the two dudes on the, so the one on the ground and the one in the howdah.
Yeah, actually, I think I was saying to Ben the other night that if he buys one of those war turtles for the Deepkin,
he
needs to get a bunch of these to stand on its back, Discworld style.
That would be cool.
Somebody should do that and send us a photo.
And then a massive MDF base with a Warhound on
it. And maybe like a void shield generator.
Yeah, that's right. Void shield next to it. But yes, honestly, like people were complaining about how many parts the Astraeus had in it. I would not envy anyone the particular job of gluing those spikes in under the tusks.
Oh well, look, it's just the same as anybody that's tried to build that Greater Demon of Slanesh. That's got all the
Oh,
tiny
yeah.
stripes on her like giant knee-high boots and stuff.
Yeah, they're all separate parts too, aren't they? Jeez.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the instructions is kind of like old school Forge World instructions, where like
Or just like have a guess.
yeah, it's kind of like you have one photo and just all the pieces are just randomly strewn across the floor, and then it's like now you do this, and it's just completely built. Like, oh,
that's right.
Hang on.
Yeah, another step would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. You have a Mammoth War Leader for Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Is it Battle of Five Armies? Is that the right? What do they call it these days?
I think it's still just Lord of the Rings.
Cool.
Or it's the Hobbit trilogy on Forge World.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Now we're off topic again. So,
okay. So,
what are we running out of on Forge World?
Okay, so there are 69 things that are going out of print.
69?
Chance to.
Wow.
Well, I think the issue is that like the Blood Angel torsos are probably in 5 different packs. So they've put all
Yeah. So we're discontinuing the packs as well.
Tactical squad, which is the heads, the torsos, the shoulder pads.
Yeah, you're right.
Tactical squad, right?
Yep.
So Blood Angels, Night Lords, World Eaters, Imperial Fist, Cyan Hands, Alpha Legion, Dark Angels, Death Guard, Raven Guard, Emperor's Children, Ultramarines, Word Bearers. Have they got rid of everything?
I know
Star,
all
Sons
of the
Horus,
Mark
Iron
II
Warriors
are going, and a fair chunk of the Mark IV.
Yeah. So all your Dark Angel upgrade sprues are gone.
Yeah.
All your Blood Angels, all your Space Wolves, all your Iron Hands, all your Iron Warriors, all your Ultramarines, all your White Scars.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything. There's Raven Guard, Night Lords, Emperor's Children, Death Guard, Space Wolves. You've already said Space Wolves.
The only thing I saw that wasn't disappearing like on its own, because there's a whole bunch of stuff where, like you said, packs and sets and stuff are disappearing. One of the only things I saw that wasn't disappearing were the Ultramarines Praetorian heads.
Okay, which is funny because the Praetorian torsos and the Invictari torsos are both gone.
Yeah. And the Invictari heads. But the Praetorian heads aren't on their own anywhere, neither are the White Scars ones. So some of the heads, I think, are hanging around.
Oh, the web store guy just fucked up and didn't add them?
Yeah. That's entirely possible also, so don't quote me on it. But the only heads that I see going are the Invictari heads. And that's pretty much it. Like all the other heads are part of... because they're all part of those sets.
And Victoria. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So it looks like they're keeping heads and possibly some of the shoulder pads. No, most of the shoulders are gone.
I think most of the shoulders are gone, and even the Cataphracti shoulders are gone.
Yeah.
And some of those have only been out for
well, the Space Wolf one hasn't been out for
5 minutes, right?
Terribly long. Dark Angels.
Like the Thousand Sun torso upgrades are gone.
Yeah, they haven't been out.
What's the deal with that, right? And then the other one, and this one's actually been sold out since I saw it on Friday night, is the Black Shield transfer sheet's gone. It's completely sold out now. So if you want one of those, you're going to have to go to Facebook and try and get one through.
Okay, so here's what I can see that's staying. If you wanted me to quickly run through.
Yeah, that's probably an easier list to go through.
Yeah, so we've got Alpha Legion Headhunters are staying with the over-under combi bolters.
Yep.
White Scars heads are staying. Dark Angels heads are staying. Templar Brethren and Phalanx Warders sets are staying. Praetorian heads are staying. Night Lords Terror Squad heads are staying. World Eaters heads are staying. Iron Warriors heads, Salamanders heads. Raven Guard Space Marine upgrade pack, which looks like it's the old 40k one, is hanging around.
Yep.
Emperor's Children heads. World Eaters veteran heads, so the Sarum pattern helms. Imperial Fist heads. So all the heads, basically.
Yeah.
Night Lords Legion Mark III shoulder pads survived somehow.
Apparently big sellers.
Apparently. Sons of Horus heads. Salamanders Mark III pads. Interestingly, it looks like Mark III has survived and Mark IV.
Although a lot of the Mark IV torsos seem to have been...
Yeah, it looks like they're ditching the torsos, but keeping shoulders and heads.
Yeah.
So Thousand Suns heads are staying, both a KN and Mark IV. And yeah, Mark III shoulder pads. And Mark IV's going.
So basically, like, a lot of the upgrades are going, right? Like, if you wanted to get into Heresy and you wanted all the really glorious looking gubbins for your guys, you're basically in a situation where you're not going to be able to get a lot of them now. Do we want to begin to wildly speculate as to why?
It honestly doesn't feel like that you're losing that much, though. You're losing torsos and some shoulders.
Yeah, and look, I'm definitely a decal guy, so the shoulder pads, like, losing those, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, you don't care. Yeah, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, if you're, like, I know some people have been saying it's going to kill Heresy all over again because you can't customize your legions, but your Night Lords are still going to have matte heads. Your Ultramarines are still going to have those absolutely beautiful Praetorian heads. World Eaters are still going to have the Sarum pattern helms. Like, it's not going to be.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to be uncustomizable.
Yeah, and look, I think the other thing is that, you know, for me, you know, Warhammer Fest is what, next weekend or the weekend after or something.
Yeah.
New stuff, and I'm not saying they're going to redo all the torsos or anything, but Forge World is like a small part of a small company as far as manufacturing and production.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I was talking to somebody online about, like, you know, how Games Workshop manufactures, and people are like, oh my god, like, they use these giant factories in China. No, they don't. They literally have a factory in the car park at Warhammer World, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, like, we know some people that, you know, in their lives so far have worked in the Forge World factory and worked in the Games Workshop factory and all this sort of stuff. They're not big.
No, yeah.
Like everything's automated, right? But there's still only, you know, I think somebody was saying that they have like 4 or 5 guys that do quality control, like warehouse quality control for Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So all your shit gets checked. Everything in the world gets checked by like 5 dudes in a warehouse in Nottingham, right? And then gets boxed and like shipped out from there. And like Forge World is going to be less than that. So when their range gets humongous, and obviously, as we were saying before, you know, Necromunda's part of their range, Blood Bowl's part of their range. Every time they do a new game, it's part of their range, right? They also have Hobbit. They also have Age of Sigmar stuff. They also have a shit ton of 40k stuff, right?
Yeah.
They've got to store it somewhere. They have one factory and a warehouse to store it in. The way that they mold the resin stuff is more time consuming than what they do with the plastic injection molded stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, it takes longer. Molds, like, if people don't know this stuff, like, molds go to shit after a while, like the resin molds that they use.
Yeah, that's right.
For casting, like, they need to be retooled. And if they've pumped out a whole ton of this stuff, it's possible that the molds have just gone to shit, and they need somebody to basically remake the master molds. And, you know, that person might have a calendar that's full for 18 months.
Yeah.
Like, that could be a reason for it. They could be changing the way that they want to do, like, a lot of the stuff these days obviously is done through CAD. So it's 3D, like, modeling on a computer. Maybe they want to change stuff that was hand sculpted and make it CAD so it's easy to do. Another idea that somebody came up with is it's possible that what they want to do is just give you stick-on bits.
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy that, because I don't know how that replaces losing helmets or what are some very intricate torsos and whatnot. But you know,
I mean,
possibility.
Yeah. Honestly, though, how many armies have you ever seen where the torsos have been a priority for someone?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? With a Mark IV box and a pack of those 10 Ultramarines, I keep going back to them because I absolutely love them. But with a box of Mark IVs and a 10 pack of those Praetorian heads, you've got your Ultramarine squad, right?
Yeah.
If you feel like getting fancy, you get some resin shoulder pads. Or you just get the Ultramarines transfer sheet and away you go.
Yeah.
So honestly, I can't imagine they're selling terribly many of those torso sets. Yeah. And the Mark II and the Mark III shoulder pads are so similar that you may as well get rid of one of them.
Yeah.
And the Mark IV ones even, like, what's the big difference? They've got less of a lip, but the Forge World lips are terrible anyway, right? Like, they're always weirdly, because they were hand sculpted.
and everything else, and they're fucking uneven all the way
Yeah.
around.
So they may as well just have Mark II ones and make them bulkier and sort of, Legion honorifics or whatever. Honestly, I wouldn't expect anything else from them. I think they're just ditching shit that isn't selling.
Yeah, look, and that's entirely possible. And when you look at stuff like the Dark Angel stuff and the Blood Angel stuff, they don't have rules. Like, they're basically playing out of an index compared to people with a full codex.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that, like obviously when you look at our scene here in Sydney, like I know one person actively playing Blood Angels.
Yep.
There are two other guys that have Blood Angel armies I know, but they don't play 30k at the moment because their guys don't have rules.
Yep.
And they prefer 8th edition. So,
yeah.
How does so I say that, like, there's a few Dark Angel players around. Like I know, I want to say there's
2 or 3.
2 or 3 off the top of my head in Canberra.
Yeah. Yep.
But same thing, like they don't really have rules.
Yeah.
Like they, and when I look at the Dark Angel players that we know, like they're diehard Dark Angel players.
Yeah, that's right. They've been playing Dark Angels since whatever, 2nd edition, and won't ever play anything else.
Yeah, they've been subjected to so many, fence-sitting jokes that they're basically stuck playing Dark Angels forever after taking that sort of crap.
I'd like to see them finally make a decision, but sorry, Dark Angels players.
So yeah, look, I think you, like, part of me thinks you could be right. Part of me goes, I think some of the stuff's just getting retooled. Like apparently, and this is going back to the first sort of stuff that went to Last Chance, which was a lot of the Elysian stuff and a lot of the Solar Og stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody reckons they called Forge World. Once again, it was on the internet, so it's got to be true, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And they were specifically told that whatever they were asking about, and I want to say it was the Solar Og's Medicaid guy, Surgeon Jovian or whatever.
Oh, he's so cool. Yeah. Atos Jovian,
Specifically, there was an issue with the mold.
Okay.
So I don't know. Forge World's response to the shitstorm on Friday night was, there's a whole lot of reasons that we remove stuff from sale, and they include, we're just getting rid of it. It doesn't sell. The molds are fucked.
Yep.
Somebody stole the molds. Somebody, like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't.
Yeah.
They just went, there's like 80 different reasons. And
that's right. Here's one of 100, whatever.
Yeah.
Get off our case. We're doing our best. Fuck off. Okay, so hang on. Just to anybody who's worried that absolutely everything is disappearing and that they're not supporting Heresy anymore or whatever, just calm your tits. There are 49 different heads and torsos sets sitting in the Horus Heresy section of the Forge World website. Of those, one is the Renegade Militia headset, so we can get rid of that. That's 48 Space Marine sets.
Yeah.
Of those, 17 are Last Chance to buy.
Yeah.
So there are still 31 different sets that you can choose from for all of your fucking legions, including heads and shoulders. I don't put much credence in the molds thing, because if the molds were fucked, the heads would be going as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I legit just think that they're getting rid of the shit that isn't moving, because none of us assholes are buying torsos specifically.
Yeah. And look, I think the other thing that's worth throwing in at the same time, which is kind of like the, a bad thing, and then you've got to have a good thing to soften it, is, have you noticed that they're giving away free Dreadnought arms whenever you buy a Dreadnought
I saw
that. Which is pretty cool. Like, they're usually, £10 or whatever it is for a Dreadnought arm.
Yep.
So if you buy one arm, you get an arm free, which is pretty cool at the moment. They also extended their free shipping.
Oh, solid.
Which was also pretty damn good. Well, I think that's Forge World. I think that's some wild speculation. I think you've talked some people off and back off the ledge there, Doug.
We can only hope, but I mean, like, if you want to burn it all down,
just video it.
Yeah, just send me some.
That's the only thing I ask, right? Is just send us some photos.
go out. Oh, actually, and also if you're thinking about burning your army because you can't get the exact nipple plates that you want for your Blood Angels anymore, have a chat to one of us first. We will potentially throw some money at you instead of having you cover it with lighter fluid.
Yeah. Although, as I said, like, like occasionally I'm trying to find things that will keep my daughter interested. So, I don't know, burning miniatures on YouTube might be as good as Duncan. Don't know. But yeah, that's basically Forge World at the moment. So let's talk about some meat and potatoes, which is the big FAQ.
Oh yeah, hey, that's what we were going to talk about.
Well, look, this is a Lost in Space and Alien Covenant podcast, so this is just a giant tangent anyway.
Our Custodes one features Eisenhorn pretty heavily as well, so
yeah,
I think we're going okay.
I think we need to just change the name of this podcast to The Rabbit Hole.
I suspect that's possibly a good idea.
So I sort of wrote a few little like op-ed pieces on our Facebook page when the sky started falling a few weeks ago with the FAQ, and look, I think let's just get some of the big stuff out of the way. So keywords. So basically, guys, if you haven't read the FAQ yet, I think instead of us just reading it verbatim to you, which is just going to bore the fucking pants off you, go and read it. Just stop the podcast. Yeah. Go and read all the FAQ stuff, and we're just going to talk about it generally and whether we think it's a good thing, bad thing, is it going to affect stuff, and things like that. Instead of being like page 200 deployment after terrain is set up, the defender sets up 3 of their units. Yeah, I've already put Doug out there.
That's right. I'm out. I'm gone. Yeah.
So look, I just want to talk about keywords. So the death of soup. As it's been known, as somebody that was attempting to build like a Chaos Soup army from a very narrative standpoint, it's a little bit annoying, but at the same time, I was already breaking the fundamental rules of the game to do that.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to continue to break the fundamental rules of the game.
Exactly.
Stacked anyway, so it was kind of.
And this is for match play only, right? So narrative, do whatever.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, guys, do whatever the hell you want. Like if what you're worrying about is a pickup game at Games Workshop, well,
sure, go mono build. Have a mono build army you can run, right? Like,
well, I think the thing that really, I think the issue with this death of soup thing, right, is that so many people take the tiny little box on page whatever it is of the rule book that says you can only have 3 detachments as being some sort of rule.
Yeah.
It's not a rule, right? It's a guideline. It actually says that. It's actually independent tournaments that state you can only have 3 detachments at 2,000 points.
Yep.
And it's not even all of them. Like there are ones out there that just like, cool, if you can fit 30 patrols in for your Dark Elder army, fucking go.
That's right. Enjoy. Yeah.
So I think that it's actually the interplay between those two things. I think if you're in a relaxed environment where you can take more detachments, you can still do what you wanted to do. What you can't do now is game shit on a points level to farm command points or, chase one very specific unit by taking a whole bunch of cheapers, chips, brimstones, or nurglings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that to me is what it's stopping. And at the end of the day, there is that, like, you can take any single choice that you want as its own detachment.
Yeah.
And I think you lose a command point every time you do that.
Yep.
Considering how we get extra command points now, like battalions and brigades have gone up quite significantly, that losing a command point now to get those in there is probably the best way to go about it. Like if that's all you were doing, if all you were doing was, I'm taking a patrol detachment of, demons or something like that to get Fate Weaver into my list.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a thing that tournament players do. I'm not too sure. But you know what I mean? Like, I think there's still ways to do it. It's just there are things that aren't rules that are stopping a lot of people, making people in internet land go a bit crazy about that.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah. I guess the idea behind it is that we're stopping, or that it's stopping you taking bare bones company commanders and bare bones astropaths to fill out your HQ and elites sections, for example, and then bare bones scout squads to fill out the troops, and then nothing but penitent engines or something to fill out the rest of it, right? Like,
Yeah,
stopping that sort of min-maxing, so minimizing your spend on things that you don't want to spend on, and maximizing the effectiveness of what you do want to buy.
yeah, that's exactly right. And look, I think I put this in that little article that I wrote on the Facebook page at the time, and that was even in the Imperium, right, which is kind of like the biggest offender when it came to soup lists, is from a FOF perspective. There are very few times where different branches of the different militaries within the Imperium actually get put under each other's control, because one of the guiding tenets of the Imperium post-heresy is that's completely against the fucking rules.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, Space Marines are not actually allowed to turn up and tell the Imperial Guard what the fuck to do. And the few times you actually have situations like that, like, and I'm thinking about the fluff, the big ones, obviously, on Armageddon, right?
Yep.
Where they give total theater control to what Dante and Helbrecht, I think, end up with it for the Third War.
Yeah,
like that. Like, there's
couple of dudes,
there's kind of like a council, or you look at like Badab to some extent, like you have like a bit of a council thing going.
Yep.
They still have to have the guard generals in the fucking room, right? They still have to have
that's right,
guys there. And there are instances on Armageddon where the Imperial Guard are like, I'm not fighting next to those fucking flesh terror dudes. We heard stories.
Yeah. And I mean,
like, we're not actually going into the field with those guys, and they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And even if a Marine has overall theater command, right, there's still company commanders in charge of individual regiments.
Yeah,
so you can't be Dante and go, this squad of guardsmen is coming with me, and that repressor is coming with me, and those Grey Knights are coming with me.
Yeah, and
that assassin is also coming with me. Like, that's no, you're gonna lead a horde of Blood Angels screaming into a massive orcs.
Yeah, it's not fucking 7th grade soccer, right, at lunchtime, where you get to like cherry pick your goddamn team and nobody wants the fucking Space Wolf player or whatever it is. Like, it's just so like, to me, like, and you know what, like, you know, Chaos is maybe a bit different to that, but generally Chaos dudes don't have that much control over the demons that are with them.
Yeah,
and they need to.
There's normally always a herald somewhere.
Yeah, and they need to go and talk to like the warp smiths to get the demon engines.
Yep.
And then, you know, like all these different things, and like I just finished reading Pariah, right?
Yep.
The Black Library book, very cool. Go and read it if you haven't read it. And like, there's a bit where the Chaos Cult is talking to like the Chaos Space Marines that you don't know are Chaos Space Marines because they're hiding behind a wall.
Yeah.
And they're basically telling them to go fuck themselves. They're like, you're partners, you don't control us.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and people don't even know what you are, because for the simple reason is that like our cultists would just fucking shit themselves and run away if they realized there were 3 word bearers standing behind the door over there.
Yep.
So there's stuff like that, and I kind of go, yeah, there would be situations where, you know, like there's a guard unit stuck in a crater somewhere, and then the Space Marines come in and save the day, and the guard, like, you know, charge out with bayonets on and all this sort of shit, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, there's going to be an officer somewhere, right?
Yep.
There's going to be, like, even if it's a sergeant that's taken overall command.
Yeah. That's like some kind of platoon commander.
Yeah, like rando tactical Marine dude isn't going to like sit there and be like, oh, fucking, I'm going to order these guys. They're just going to be like, oh, look, there's some humans, if they even notice them.
Yeah.
You know, like this, the same sort of thing goes for like Sisters of Battle. Like, they don't give a shit about what's going on with the guardsmen.
Yep.
Or whatever it is. So yeah, like from a fluff perspective, it makes sense to me. Elder as well, like the Elder soup you used to get. Like,
yeah, there should always be an Archon if you're going to take Venoms or a bunch of
yeah, like as much as there's some sort
Kabbalah
of
warriors.
Like, oh, we're all Eldari, so we're better than any other life form, and I'd prefer to, you know, kill 100 humans and see a dead Elder regardless of what type of Elder it was.
Yeah.
The fucking Incubi are still not going to be super happy about an Autarch telling them what to do.
No. Correct.
So,
well, I mean, do you think a Talos is going to listen to anyone other than its homunculus?
That's fucking right. So, yeah, like, to me, the soup stuff makes sense. And like, obviously, anything that reduces what people blatantly understand to be abuse and gaminess, I think is a good thing.
I agree.
So That's that one.
Cool. Furious agreement on Battle Brothers. Excellent.
What do you think, Doug?
Psychic Focus is now official. So Smite getting trickier every time you cast it.
Yeah. Was there still much in the way of like just Smite farms going around?
There was a little bit of like, I mean, Smite spam was still the popular psychic power.
Oh yeah. Like it was still far better than anything else that was sort of hanging around the place.
Yeah, but I think having introduced that rule, it started to disappear a little.
Yeah, and obviously
it certainly wasn't just the only thing you saw at the top.
Yeah, like boosting the points on Malefic Lords and Chaos Armies and shit.
Yeah. All those little tweaks that stop, once again, like we said before, that kind of rampant abuse of a mechanic rather than just playing the game.
Yeah.
So now it's just official. And Grey Knights and Thousand Suns ignore it to some extent, but they've got their own debuffs.
Yeah, good old Brotherhood of Psychers kind of thing going on. Just trying to think. Well, let's talk rule of 3.
Oh yeah.
I'm sort of jumping all over the place, but I'm sort of thinking about
yeah. No, that makes sense.
Seems to be the really big impact stuff. So obviously the rule of 3 is that there is now a table that has at 2,000 points, if the choice is anything other than a troops choice?
Trooper or dedicated transport.
Yeah, trooper or dedicated transport. You can only have up to 3 in your army. So this is not detachment, this is army. So this is 10 detachments. This is across all 10 of them.
Yep.
Now, I think this is an interesting one for me. Obviously, this is, once again, this is for organized events.
Yeah.
This is where you get that up to 3 detachments at 2,000 points and 4 at 3,000 points.
Yep.
It's not so much a rule, it's a guideline. Like, I think that's something that people need to understand. It also says that, a 2,000 point game should take 2 hours to 3 hours. And like, you should be playing on a 4x4 at 1,000 points and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be adopted by tournaments if you're a tournament player, so you need to think about it.
I reckon so. Which means, I guess, that even if you're playing narratively, you've got to be aware of that when you're playing with people who play competitively.
Yeah. And look, I know I've already heard like a few people being like, "Oh, I can still spam Demon Princes because there's 3 different data slates."
Yeah.
So
Russes
are
the same.
3 of each, and Russes and command tanks. You can have 3 command tanks, and then 3 of this Russ, 3 of that.
And then 9 Russes, 3 Conquerors, 3 Annihilators, etc. But it's a thing.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. There's a couple of armies that specifically hurts. Harlequins, when you've only got 6 choices in the army, I think that's going to be a kick in the ass.
Take more basic clowns.
But obviously, they're getting a codex in the next couple of weeks. So
yeah, and I mean, take a patrol of Dark Eldar, or take a battalion of shit kicker Guardians, whatever. Just do what the Imperium does. Farm it out to the guard if you've got extra points.
Now with 30% extra hats.
That's right. But she's got a new hat. Sorry.
So I think there's a few armies out there that are really going to get hurt by this. Obviously, anybody still playing out of an index. Although somebody pointed out that orcs don't give a shit because the only thing worth taking in an orc army is boys.
Boys, right? So you may as well just take a million more boys.
Yeah. So like there's a few things like that.
But my Hive Tyrants. How will I ever run 9 Hive Tyrants now?
Hive Tyrants, but you can still take, you still take fucking a few Hive Tyrants. You can still take.
Oh yeah, you can still do 3 Flying Tyrants and a Swarm Lord and 3 basic ones. Yeah.
And look, a lot of people have been complaining that, oh well, if it doesn't get rid of dedicated transports, you still have this Guilliman
and Razorbacks.
Razorback Guilliman thing, and I'm like, yeah, but
I get why it's not transports though, because that way, like Armageddon and Steel Legion, right?
Oh yeah, I'd be fucked.
What do they ride in?
I got 10 Chimeras, right, in like 1,500.
Well, good luck. You can have 3, and then your Griffon ones, and then you're down to Tauroxes.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah, fuck those things, right?
You've just got to convert them. They're fine.
So, rule of 3, it's something to keep in the back of your mind. Obviously, as we've just said, there are some armies that get hurt a bit more than it.
Yeah. But
then again, if you were taking 7 Hive Tyrants or something, like, what the fuck? Like, that's not how you play those. That's not what that army's supposed to be. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, I mean,
there is no reason that there are 7 Hive Tyrants on a fucking planet.
narratively, I agree completely. But as came up when we were talking about in our as yet unreleased episode, Warhound Gate over at Adepticon, where you had that Warhound on the Sky Shield next to the Void Shield.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay with, in a competitive environment, people running those mechanics as far as they'll go. And I think this is a good way to counter that by putting in another restriction.
Yeah, it's just tightening up the mechanics.
Yeah, exactly.
And play within those mechanics, and you'll get different things, and then they'll be tightened again, and other things will be loosened. So I don't think that's a problem.
Spot on, 100%.
Okay, the other really big change that we've seen, and this is technically a beta matched play rule, so it's not actually a rule yet, although it's being, as I said, it's being adopted. It will most probably the next FAQ or the one after it become an actual rule for matched play.
This is the Feel No Pain one, right?
Yeah, you can't stack Feel No Pains, people. No tactical reserves. So this is where you can't deep strike on the first turn, except in your own deployment zone. So this is like the anti-alpha strike. Now, one of the interesting things was that they did release a commentary, and they did do quite a few Twitch streams. Not that I get the chance to watch them, but people tell me all about them. And the big thing seemed to be that the most common feedback that Games Workshop has gotten since the beginning of 8th edition is that there are now bad matchups to the point where literally, if you don't seize the initiative, you pack your shit and you go home.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people were having these problems, and it was everything from, going up against a guard gun line full of like manticores and basilisks to there were elder lists that would do it with a whole ton of dark reapers, mortar farms for guard. Like there was a huge amount of stuff out there that could do these sort of alpha strikes, just wipe you off the board in one turn, or take out half an army with the only thing you're getting to do as the person who owns that army is make armor saves in some cases and then remove shit off the table.
Yeah, that's right. An exercise in packing up your army again. Yeah.
So one of the big things was these armies that would come down on the first turn and then use psychic powers. And this plays into another FAQ point in here, is when you do deep strike, you can't then, in most cases, buff your guys to get them to move.
Yeah.
On the same turn of deep strike. Like, they can still charge, but they can't get an extra move in there or a run or anything. Yep. And 100% Games Workshop have just gone, it's trying to stop some of the fun suck that people have built lists for. Like, there are hard lists, right? This is my mind, at least. Like, there are hard lists that you have fun playing against.
Yep.
Even if it's 7 Hive Tyrants, like, you can still have a bit of fun with that list.
Yeah.
But then there are lists that are built to be fun sponges. Denial lists. Like, I was listening to another podcast, and they're telling this story about a guy in last edition that would only play Maelstrom missions. And he built his entire list so that you couldn't score Maelstrom missions, Maelstrom points against his army because he didn't have a flyer. And he didn't have Psychic, and he didn't have a tank, and he didn't have this, and he didn't have that. So that's basically the only points you could score against him were like, run over there and grab that objective. And apparently he was in his local area, he was very successful because he refused to play anything other than Maelstrom. So it's great. Yeah, like that to me is a fun suck list. Like, nobody's having fun. Like, I can't even imagine he was having fun doing that, right?
No, it's really just kind of admin at that stage, right?
Yeah, it's just like, shorthand for go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, but and so I guess the other things that would have been like this in particular, like 7th edition, were things like drop pod assault, right? Like that same sort of denial if you played it like an asshole. It's or like the all night list, you play that like an asshole, or
Yeah, and look, I
13 Iron Circle. I mean, who'd do that?
like I love that Games Workshop seems to give a shit about our fun.
Yeah, I agree.
So, like that's a big thing for me. The other thing is that, if you're listed and I'm about to embark on building a few lists that are Blood Angel lists, like pure Blood Angels.
Yep.
Oh my god, Blood Angels are shit because they can't Alpha Strike. Well, they can still do that shit on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to have some stuff on the table that's going to weather a turn of shooting or hide behind some shit. Like, I don't.
Yeah, but I can't just put my bare bones, flimsy ass scout squads out there and then destroy you with 20 Sanguinary Guard and whoever.
Yeah, and
clearly the army is ruined.
The other thing that I love about this rule, and the other FAQ point that's like, you can't. Trying to think of what the Elder Psychic Power was. Was it Quicken?
Yeah, like Warp Time for Nurgle and all those ones.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff where it was like Deep Strike down, Warp Time, so you're like an inch away from someone, and
Yeah, and then charge. Yeah.
The response to that from the community and the meta, right, was we need bubble wrap, we need meat shields and all this sort of stuff. And it was like, okay, I need sentinels in my guard army and ratlings that can push up and give me a deep strike bubble.
Yep.
And then I need, this, there was people were taking shit in their lists purely to counter this stuff.
Yeah.
To the point where it just became the norm. And I don't think Games Workshop liked the game being played that way. I don't think that was the intent of the game, was to basically just have, okay, I have to have this detachment that's just screening guys. And I need to make sure that, like we always carry on about spacing miniatures and how it's so good not to have to space miniatures. And then the meta shifted to such a point where you were not just
spacing miniatures out,
but like you then had to measure 9 inches around every fucking person on the table to make sure there was nowhere you could deep strike an obliterator, right?
Yep.
That's so against the intent of 8th edition. It's not funny. Like, all that stupid pointless busy work that's not intelligent, it's not tactics, it's not strategy, it's just fucking admin, right?
Yep. And I mean,
it's so good to see that gone.
At some level, that still happens turn 2. But it means that like the person who's waiting to receive that has a little bit of prep time. You know what I mean? Like they deploy, and then they've got a little bit of space to jiggle it.
Yeah. So like for my Steel Legion guys, right? Like, yes, I have Sentinels and I like them in my Steel Legion, and I think they make sense from a fluff and a game perspective for me.
Yep.
But they're not just useless dickheads with chicken walker legs that are just there to like deep strike block.
Yeah.
Like,
that's right.
Knowing it's going to be turn 2, like I can push chimeras up the field.
Exactly. Yeah.
And get out of my deployment zone. And I think that's the other thing is that, how many times have we seen, especially on 30k tables, drop pod assault lists? And like I've had this against Jay so many times when I've played him with my Alpha Legion versus his Ultramarine list, and they were both drop lists.
Yeah.
We had a 6x4 table and we started playing in like a 1x2 back corner of the table.
Yep.
And it was a clusterfuck. Like they were fun games because Jay's a good guy to play against, and it was a bit of a laugh. But that's how a lot of those games go, is you end up playing in this tiny little fucking corner, and it doesn't really mean anything. Like it's not. I don't think it's the way that Games Workshop, when they were sitting down writing the rules and designing this game and playtesting it, I don't think that was the intent of it.
Yeah, no. I agree.
And then obviously Gene Steel Cult just goes, fuck you all, and they're doing it anyway.
Oh yeah, but that's Cult Ambush, right? And clearly would completely screw them over as an army if they didn't.
Yeah, it's like they are a 4-armed one-trick pony.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's right. I love my mutant pony. They're great. In fact, they got some stratagems that buff that in Chapter Approved as well, which is nice.
Oh, very cool. I still have not read Chapter Approved cover to cover.
Really? There's some cool stuff in there.
Obviously, we were saying command point buffs for battalions and brigades.
Yeah, 5 and 12.
That's nice.
Cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's good because it stops you from, or it gives you added incentive to go double battalion instead of like battalion spearhead or something.
Yeah, no. I do like that. It's sort of trying to balance a bit more.
Yeah, and pushes us back towards HQ 2 troops.
Yeah. Anything else you want to pick out of the FAQ to talk about?
Clearly, we have to talk about points because we're such match play fanatics.
Well, actually, one thing that I thought was a good, and obviously it is points and doesn't impact us.
Affect us at all. I don't think I've played a single points game since 8th came out.
No, not at all. The ubiquitous Fire Raptor apparently got a humongous points increase.
Yeah, 280 points now.
Apparently good. Just because it was just like, okay, I'm building a Space Marine or a Chaos Space Marine list. Right, so I've got my one Fire Raptor.
That's right. Starting point, single Fire Raptor.
And then we'll see where we go.
If you're playing Imperium, add Guilliman.
Yeah.
And then figure out what else you want.
So that was apparently something that needed it.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of point shuffles. Fire Raptors seem to be the big losers, but they were pretty good.
Like I think Guilliman looks like he went up 20 points. Or
yeah, he went up a bit.
If you want a points breakdown and the efficiency changes, don't listen to us.
No, there are it's not what far more competitive options. We're here just to talk shit and play narrative, really.
Yeah, and mainly,
which is kind of the thing, right? Like a lot of these changes don't necessarily impact narrative. No, like even tactical reserves, right? That's a matched play thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So we could, if we wanted to, play a narrative game where drop pods are coming in turn one.
Oh yeah,
like right up in your face, which thematically could work.
Yeah,
but
look, I think, and this is going to be me getting on my philosophical soapbox for a second, so feel free to just completely cut me off. This idea I feel, and I'm like, let's forget tournaments for a moment because we're not tournament players. We haven't been for years, and
no.
I don't want to think that we're talking to a whole lot of tournament players because if you're a tournament player, there are much better podcasts to listen to than us.
But if you are listening, thank you.
Yeah, we love you. I hear a lot of the time this thing about like pickup games and how you have no chance to organize anything, so you have to always play with the strictest interpretation of the rules, which is the match play rules, right? So if you go to Games Workshop and you walk in the door like a big dick player with your gigantic hard case and you're like, sup bitches, I want to throw fucking dice.
Yeah.
That there is no ability once that has been said for you to actually have a fucking conversation with somebody for 3 minutes about what you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like I get it in tournaments, obviously. Like, it's structured. There's no conversations at the table. Actually, and even then, there fucking is, right? Like,
yeah, there always is, right? Like, there's always that. Oh, what are we going to call this hill? Or how are we doing cover? Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly right. So, just have a chat for 5 minutes, and I think one of the big things that it comes down to is that there seems to be this in the community, and I think it changes depending on how old the people involved are. I'm not saying that young guys are all immature or anything like that. But there's this idea that whenever you have a game with somebody you don't know, and I've experienced this on both sides, there seems to be this natural distrust that the other guy just wants to fucking beat you to death.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that from like reading shit on Facebook and talking to people where it's like, oh, I went for this pickup game and all I was imagining was that he was going to bring 7 fucking Hive Tyrants.
Yeah, I mean,
like you actually had a good game and you had fun, and it's like, oh, okay, right. Like, not everybody out there is trying to sucker punch the shit out of you in the hobby.
Yeah, the tricky part is people hear about net lists or the list that won, Adepticon or LVO or whatever, and think that that's what everybody's running.
Yeah.
And so that kind of just kicks off this whole arms race to get around that.
Yeah, but like I don't.
And so that just breeds distrust, right? And you almost feel like nobody else is out there for storytelling, so you can't just be out there to tell the story.
Oh, 100%. And even
when in reality, like everybody wants to tell a story.
Yeah, and I think and I haven't had a pickup game with a total stranger in a very long time.
Yeah,
like. You can talk to them while you're like getting miniatures out of a case. Like you generally go, cool, what are you playing? I'm playing this. What sort of list is? Oh, this, that, and the other. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then, like, I always remember having these conversations where it was like, well, okay, we've got this table over here, and it happens to be a desert table with like a little settlement in it. And I'm like, well, cool. Do we want to do anything where, like, you know, maybe my guys are on a last stand and I'm going to take half the points of you? These conversations only take 5 minutes. You're putting 2 to 3 hours of your life on the line, right?
Yep.
One thing we do not get back as human beings is time.
Yep.
Okay, like that's just the way it fucking goes. And hobby time is so skint for so many people that I get it. You want to make sure you have fun. Take 5 minutes, have a conversation. If the bloke goes, you know what, I'm prepping for a tournament this weekend and I've got the latest Adepticon net list and I just need to work out how it works. You got 2 choices. You can be a really lovely guy who just wants to roll dice and you're like, you know what, yeah, I'll play you, but this isn't a tournament list, so you'll probably fucking roll me, but hey, we'll talk some shit and throw some dice. Or
yeah.
You know what, man? I'm here to play a last stand with half an army against your full army, or like whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yep.
I think you need to find somebody else. And you find somebody else, or you don't play that game and you use that 3 hours for something else in your life that you find to be valuable.
Yeah, that's right. Sit at the back and build a Deathwatch aggressor.
Yeah, glue your fucking hand to your face or something with some super glue. I think so many people in the hobby lose sight of the idea that you can say no to people.
Yeah. That almost as soon as you're at the table, the contract has been signed, and
look, 100%, there is a social contract and all this, but
yeah.
5 fucking minutes, and you know what? If you can't have that conversation in 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, take 15 minutes. If you need to rewrite a list, actually, that's something we didn't talk about. That there's the power level list builder now.
Yeah, that's actually a really useful. I like it.
Yeah. It's awesome. Jump over to the Warhammer community site and have a look. It's called Combat Roster, and apparently we're getting points added to it at some point in the very near future. So don't complain about there not being points. You've been warned. That's my soapbox for tonight.
Yep.
Have a fucking conversation. Be a human being and talk to somebody about it. And you know what? Most people these days I see organizing pickup games on Facebook.
Yeah.
You've got all the time in the fucking world to have a conversation about what's turning up.
For sure, right? Like you go, hi, I'm going to be, in Sydney on Wednesday. I want to bring 50 power and just have an open war deck game.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody goes, yeah, cool, that's what I want to play. And you know what? If that dude then turns up with 7 fucking Hive Tyrants and kicks your face in, then you've found somebody that's willing to lie to you about toy soldiers.
Yeah, that's right.
Bro has more issues. Yeah, like just at that point, it's completely okay to pack your shit and just not deal with that person.
Oh man, at that point, you take half an army and pick yourself a sudden death victory condition.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. So is there anything else in the FAQ that you wanted to sort of jump? Because I think for me, I'm kind of like everything else is just word changes,
adjustments, right? Yeah. The only other one that I kind of really wanted to talk about, or not talk about, but mention in passing, was Commissars in the Astra Militarum Codex.
Yeah, we actually did talk about this pre-show.
Yeah, so everybody lost their shit when Commissars got nerfed, of course, and went from shoot a dude, no one runs, to shoot a dude, reroll the test.
Regardless of whether it was just going to auto fail again.
Yeah, and you lose even more guys. So you lose 1 extra dude at best. Yeah. Now it's optional.
Yeah, and look, I like that idea. I like the idea that, a commissar can actually use his fucking brain.
No, he just shouts really loud.
Because, there would be obviously situations where he's not going to shoot that person.
Yeah. Like if they're running anyway, perhaps the commissar stays, give some kind of rousing speech or something. Actually, commissars got really good against, or not got really good, but are quite good against Dark Eldar as a general rule. Because Dark Eldar have a whole bunch of reduce the leadership of a particular unit.
Yep.
But commissars let that particular unit use their leadership, which isn't being modified.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You park a Lord Commissar in the back somewhere and he's leadership 9, and then be like, what? My guards put a leadership 2? well, it's a good thing Gaunt's at the back and
Yeah.
he's leadership 9. Actually, that's the other thing I like about summary execution being optional. Gaunt isn't shooting ghosts anymore, which is nice.
which is
I don't think I'll ever use it with him. Hark might cap a sucker, but
well, Gaunt does kill a couple.
He doesn't kill ghosts. He kills blokes on AX Cardinal.
No, hang on. Doesn't he kill? There's somebody in one of the later books that he does kill, isn't there?
No. He almost shoots a guy.
Yeah, that's maybe what I'm thinking of.
So, and that's in. Is it Straight Silver? AX Cardinal? Is that the Straight Silver one?
No. I mean, like in the last 2 or 3 books.
No. It's another one where he almost kills them but doesn't.
There's one where he goes to kill somebody, but Dorden steps in.
Yeah, that's Straight Silver. So is that one of the blokes in there is an alcoholic, and his flask alerts the enemy to their position, and so Gaunt's about to shoot him, and Dorden intercedes.
Like, nah. Yeah.
Are you thinking maybe Merrin? Because he definitely does not get capped.
No. Obviously, yeah. No.
Anyone who he would cap tends to get naturally killed anyway.
Yeah.
Like they tend to get their comeuppance.
Completely fucking stupid, right? That they're just.
Yeah.
They're gonna get killed. Yeah.
Yep.
And
then Hark tends to just shoot officers, which I love.
Yeah.
Why didn't you shoot those guys? Because it's the officers' fault.
Yeah. We get rid of this rot at the fucking top, right?
Yep. Yep. So that's good. I like that. I think you'll see a few more commissars rock up. Maybe not a lot, but they're cute little leadership bubbles.
Yeah, I think that they, like, if their aura becomes useful again, like a big, look, they went from being like on par with what are they, like captains and lieutenants in a Space Marine army?
Yep,
being just like the biggest fucking liability you could ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd almost be like, okay, cool. So I know if I kill this many guys, I can stop shooting those dudes.
Yeah, because the commissar will do the rest of my work for me.
One of them, and then the rest of them are going to just fucking die anyway. Like it was a maths thing for you to do. They also got a lot cheaper.
They did. They took quite a points reduction.
Yeah,
which was nice. So like actual basic commissars are like 20 points a throw now.
Yeah, which is nice, but I guess you can only have 3 of them now with the rule of 3 or whatever's going on.
Yeah, it's all right. Still fills out the elites in a brigade.
Yeah, that's very true.
60 points.
So is there anything else before we sort of decide to round out this episode?
Not that I can think of. I like that cultists and poxwalkers can't infinitely respawn now. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Not that I've really faced that though. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of these things that I'm kind of looking at and going, and that I hear people go, I'm so glad that's not happening anymore. I never really fought.
Yeah, look, I think this is, and this risks me going off another fucking tangent, but it's that fear of what people see getting played at Adepticon on the other side of the world.
Yeah, 100%.
That fuels something here where people are like, oh my God, I'm going to turn up to a pickup game and get my head kicked in by 80,000 poxwalkers.
Yeah.
When nobody actually knows anybody that has 80,000 poxwalkers to be able to do it with to start off with.
Yeah.
And secondly, we all love zombie games so much that most people would play that game out just to see how many they fucking.
Oh, 100% I would. That'd be great.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just this fear, but I love that Games Workshop is actually doing something about that to try and almost coax people to the games table by being like, this stuff that immediately makes you feel like you're not going to have fun. We're doing something about it.
We're just going to get rid of it.
Yeah. We're making it harder to use or less effective. Like, if you still want to do that shit, you can do it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not like that runaway train of like, oh fuck, he's gotten on a roll, there's nothing I can do. Like it's game over sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Which is nice. So anything else for you?
No, I need to put the soapbox away, I feel, for tonight. And
Yeah, I don't think there were any other particularly big winners or losers from the shake-up.
No,
The big
that's
FAQ.
that's it. Like I know if you want a really good breakdown from a tournament and a points perspective, not the latest episode, but the episode before of the Long Wall, which is Kenny Boucher and those sort of
Yeah,
guys.
I'm just listening to that actually.
Yeah, I finished that off today. They do a great breakdown of like the winners and the losers. So if you're really
Yeah.
interested in that efficiency stuff, go have a listen to them and then come back here for all the Lost in Space talk. That's how you need to break us down as podcasts.
We didn't talk about the most important FAQ changes, the ones to Forgebane.
Yeah.
No, they're all points shuffles. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
irrelevant.
Okay, right.
Completely irrelevant.
Oh, actually, I want to say something. Like when I was at your place the other day, and I was flicking through the Forgebane booklet, I want to see so many more of these box sets.
Right? It's such a good set. And like I feel like Forgebane in particular is a natural progression from something like Dark Imperium.
Yes.
So you buy Dark Imperium and you've got the rule book, you've got admittedly, Marines, but whatever, you can do a patrol of mech or something. And you and a buddy have split the Death Guard and the Marines. And then you buy Forgebane and you and a different buddy split the Necrons and the mech. But you've got this neat little campaign book which introduces new units and has, a story in it. Great. Love it.
Yeah, and look, I think remember the old campaign books that were kind of based
Yeah.
off the Forge World ones.
Yep.
If that's what these have kind of turned into, or is it like this is how Games Workshop's going to deal with these moving forwards? Fucking all the fucking thumbs up on the Mutant Pony, mate.
Yeah, for sure.
Loving it.
For sure. 4 thumbs way up. Gene Stealer Cult approves.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything for tonight's episode.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in. Once again, sorry for the slight delay due to real life. I still don't want to sit here and say that the Custodes episode is going to be next episode because
no.
We're about to hit another turbulent real life thing because I'm going to go head off overseas in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And then by the time I make it back, I think Rob goes off on his actual honeymoon. So I have a feeling that we'll probably do a Warhammer Fest episode and hopefully get Rob back for that one because he should be back in Sydney for it. And then we'll look at the Deathwatch Codex.
Yep.
We need to do some event updates for Stygian Abyss, our 30k campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Which you and I can't do because we both managed to miss our last event.
No, that's right. We did.
Fucking excellent EOs that we are.
Yeah, well.
Rob needs to fill us in on that one.
Yep.
So there's always a ton of stuff. I know in there somewhere we'll be talking about our 40k slow grow that we're doing as a podcast.
Yep.
Which will be a lot of fun if I can choose an army.
Yeah, come on. Jeez.
Yeah, so any parting words of wisdom?
Guard are always better with new hats.
That's it. Get your hats on.
Yeah, for sure. You can leave your hat on.
What? No hat, no play. All right, people. Have a lovely, lovely night. And
Good night,
see you
everybody.
soon.